Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see. I'm just a poor boy, I need no sympathy, 'cause I'm easy come, easy go, little high, little low. Anywhere the wind blows doesn't really matter to me, Mama just killed a man. I put a gun against his head, pulled my trigger, now he's dead. Mama, life has just begun, but now I've gone and thrown it all away. Mama, didn't mean to make you cry. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on, as if nothing really matters. Hello and welcome everybody to a new episode of Earth Orange Podcast with me, your host, Thomas, also more commonly known as Ash Thomas, and my wonderful co-host, Mr. Lawson. Hello, Andrew.
Hello there. I've got a different name every time.
I know. Like, it's a bit annoying, isn't it? It's one of them.
I need to think of a nickname.
You also need to think of a catchphrase.
I've got a good catchphrase. I've used it more than you, lads. Right, we've bred more fish than we've had shields. In fact...
Very clever.
Oh.
Well done. You brought it up very quickly.
Speak of the devil.
You did. Right. This week's episode, we thought we were going to do something a bit more difficult. Well, not difficult, but something a bit more...
Different.
Yes, a bit more different from what we've been doing in the past.
Yeah.
And that is, obviously there's one big organisation in the Marvel universe, and that is S.H.I.E.L.D, the secret government organisation that monitors all things on Earth and around Earth and everything. So, I thought today what we would talk about is actually the idea of going through the Earth Orange history of S.H.I.E.L.D. from its creation, which we'll keep pretty roughly from where it usually is in the comics, which is the late 1940s, to our present day, which is, as Andrew most rightly put last week, 2008. Well done. The fear in Andrew's eye there. The fear in his eyes.
I wasn't
was
quite
hilarious.
sure what was going on there.
Just so I'm not talking all the way, it's you involved in this as well, Andrew.
Oh, it was like a test though. It's like 2000 and... Andrew, any takers? Is it 8, sir?
Yeah, well done. I was sort of hoping you would remember, because I was like, I knew it was either 7 or 8. I couldn't remember, so I thought, oh dear. It's been a long week. I'm not going to lie. It's been a very long week.
Oh.
Hasn't it?
Has it?
Yeah.
Not for me, it hasn't.
Well, it's been for me, it has.
Oh, bless you.
It's been very hard.
He's got dust all over his face. It's been down the mines.
I have. Anyway, so, that's
Can you move over a side?
Alright, dear me. Anyway, so, are you happy with that as a suggestion? Andy?
Yes, yeah, I am, yeah. That's good.
Good.
So, you were suggesting one act, weren't you?
Yeah, well, yes, just because I think, another thing that I was thinking about, which you may not necessarily agree with, but think of it almost like, in my head, I'm thinking about this, is a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent of some years going out and recruiting a new agent for the company, and obviously having to explain to them what actually S.H.I.E.L.D's all about. Because obviously not many people know what S.H.I.E.L.D's all about, so we want to brief this new person very quickly so they understand what the whole thing's all about. So, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Right. Do you know anything about the history of S.H.I.E.L.D.
No, I do not. Can we talk about what does S.H.I.E.L.D. stand for again? Do I need to look this up?
No,
Actually, I can't.
no, it's just
We did look at this in the time.
we did.
I can't remember. I don't think I wrote it down.
I'm sure this was in last week's episode, wasn't it?
In Squirrel Girl? No, it was the one before that.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, Blue Marble.
Oh, maybe. Do you think it's interesting?
Earth
Most
Orange
of,
episode 7.
most of our episodes to do with Marvel
Yeah.
has had something to do with S.H.I.E.L.D.
Don't. You're joking, right?
No.
Are you only just cottoning onto this?
I
I thought that was the whole point.
No,
I was trying to. I thought. Oh my god. No, because
That's awkward.
the first S.H.I.E.L.D. agent we introduced was in Blue Marvel,
Yeah.
and so basically I thought that's what we were doing. I thought we were trying to like weave the S.H.I.E.L.D.
That is something that I had not even comprehended.
God.
That's bad, isn't it? Actually, no, it's
It's a little subplot that.
yeah,
but
it's
we-
Thucydic. I can't speak anymore. It's
What are you trying to say?
it's something Homeland Intervention
All right, okay.
Logistics.
You've missed 2 letters out there.
I've missed out the S and the E. this division. I know that.
So you've got Homeland Logistics Division. That's S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Right, brilliant.
But I missed. Hang on. Where's my phone? I'll have a look.
Right, bear with us. Sorry.
No, this is
Who's
all.
that?
This is all your fault. Anyway, why do?
It's all my phone.
It's all your fault. It's all your.
It's just leading.
Well, technically, actually, can I just say,
Yeah.
I am because obviously throughout the history there has been a number of different titles for it. You can disagree with me on this all you like, Andrew.
Yeah.
But I was going to be obviously working very much on the process of it being
Changed.
of it being more.
Fish.
Shut up. Yeah, here. Yeah, look, that word there. What's that?
Strategic. Oh.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Homeland Intervention Enforcement and Logistics Division.
Right, strategic, Homeland.
And intervention.
Yeah.
So apart from my list,
Oh,
I got that quite close, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, and I apologise. I shouldn't do that.
No, you shouldn't. You should, because that's bullying.
That is bullying.
And I could get you. I could get you arrested and sacked for that. I could get you sacked from this podcast, and actually from our actual job.
Please don't tell. I don't think you can get me sacked from my actual job, but please don't tell the boss of this podcast.
Who's the actual boss? Are you saying it's not me?
The viewers, the listeners.
Ah, no, it's not.
They're the real boss, aren't you?
Not really.
Big boss.
Not really. If they really had that much power, they'd have stopped us making.
They'd have burst in the room
They'd have
right
stopped
now.
making them.
Yeah, that's true.
Made us stop doing these a long time ago.
Well, we're doing it for free, so we're not costing them anything, are we? Are we? Oh God.
It's the taxpayers' money, my friend.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So
So the
Yeah.
elements. So the elements are the context is a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent explaining to other agents / agents
yeah,
about the
approved.
history.
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to start in 1946.
Yeah.
The actual Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement and Logistics Division. Anything else?
Well, there are 3 main people that we have to kind of remember
Which are?
as the forming members of S.H.I.E.L.D.
They are. They are, of course.
Yeah. Go on.
Well, I mean, you've got.
You have no idea, do you?
Yes, I do. You've got what's her name?
What's the name?
Yeah, and you've got that other guy, and you've also got the other bloke who's on the end.
Okay.
So there.
Can you remember the name?
Yes, I can.
Go on then.
One of them's called Carter.
Well done. That lady or a man?
What? That's a woman. It's a man woman.
Okay, it's
What's her name?
Agent Peggy Carter.
Agent Peggy Carter.
Yep.
Yep.
Howard Stark,
Howard Stark. Very good.
who was
As we know, is yep. Next one.
what?
It says Carter. I know it looks like it says Cantor, but it says Carter.
And Colonel
Colonel.
Chester
I don't think it's about Colonel right. Chester.
Phillips.
Higgins.
Phillips.
Winterbottom. Okay.
You're an idiot.
Colonel Chester Winterbottom. Right.
Okay.
So Agent Peggy Carter, Howard Stark, and Colonel Chester Phillips all have to feature in this. At some point.
Well, no. Obviously, at the start, yes.
Right. Okay. So if you want to, you could go into how they joined or something like that.
Well, no, because obviously, well, if you want to, but obviously they are the forming glue that form this.
That form the glue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in this context, they're the horse. So
Right.
they make the glue.
Oh, right. That's a very strange thing to say.
Well, it's true though. If you didn't know that.
Well, yeah, but nobody had to, we didn't have to hurt it. Right, okay, so let's just get on with it. So, any others? Any other elements that you want? When does it go up to? 2008? Is this a speech being given in 2008?
Well, let's make it a little bit less. Let's make it, say, 2002.
Right.
Okay?
Yep, in
Right.
fact, I'll do that up here. So, 1946, 2002, wonderful.
Okay. Go on in.
Is that it?
Yep.
That's it?
Yep. Unless you want anything.
I do. One
Go on
more
in.
thing.
Go on in. Go ahead.
Has to feature fish. No.
Fish.
Has to feature some kind of fish incident. Has to.
I'm not gonna start throwing in the things about saying my catchphrase every time.
What about we have to name one hero and one villain?
At least one or
Or at least one.
okay. Well, you could do that in every blinking year, but fair enough.
I'm really going to struggle with this one, by the way. So this is
That's fine. Don't worry.
Point in your pocket, really.
I don't think so, mate. Because all you have to remember is, obviously we can, okay.
Right, we'll give it a go.
You can go first.
Oh, you bastard!
No, because I went first last time.
I'm not even sure if that's correct.
It
Let me
is.
consult the book here.
It is.
This is the flipping of pages that you can probably hear. ASMR. Episode 9, Squirrel Girl. You went first. Shit.
Do you want to go first? Because I know a bit more.
No, I got this.
You sure?
This. Yeah,
okay, fine.
Yeah, so I've got one act to nail this.
Yeah, it can be as long as you like, or as short as you like. It's completely up to you.
Right, in which case,
it's going to be one word.
Start of time.
Carry on.
S.H.I.E.L.D. hasn't been created yet. Nor has anything, really. Then,
over a 7-day period.
Then Galactus appeared with a new planet. No, we won't go that far back. Galactus is now canon for creator of the world. Anyway,
I'm pleased.
No, please. Yes.
Doing his Bane impression.
Bane.
Okay, carry on.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, God.
Right. Okay. 1800s.
What are you doing in the 1800s?
Bear with me.
Oh, God. Okay.
1800s. A group of like-minded individuals, all qualified in their field, whether it be espionage, scientific studies, anything like that. Bear with me.
Mate, fine.
Came together with the single goal to study the paranormal and its manifestation within humans, making them superhumans, parahumans. This organisation, this small group, was called the Grantchester Pact. Comprised of men and women, as I said, with that single goal. Not officially sanctioned by the government or anything like that. Just for the sake of science, and no real resources to pull upon other than their own personal domain, whatever they have. So the Grantchester Pact started finding some success throughout the 1800s, late 1800s, let's say, and the press started to get a hold of it, and some of the members, such as a Mr. Stark, and Mr. Carter. Who were present. Started difficulties. Why are you laughing? Oh.
No, carry on.
Started to get some. And their findings started to become very interesting. But soon, the Grantchester Pact and everything, all their investigations and everything that they've been looking into, soon it just fell out of fashion. And the presence of superhumans, I don't even know if parahumans is the right, I don't know if that's the right prefix to use, soon fell out of fashion and people just became uninterested, and sure enough, eventually, going into the 1900s, it fell apart. However, although they weren't together in any official capacity, some of the members did carry on that kind of spirit of the Grantchester Pact, to form So some of these members, such as Mr. Stark and Mr. Carter, did still campaign for a sort of investigation into what they truly sincerely believed was going to be, a thing of the future, and the kind of concept of the superhuman and things like that. Which they tried to campaign politically, and get it recognised as a governmental thing. So that's always kind of been happening. But like I say, a lot of people didn't take it seriously, and it fell out of fashion. Until World War One. So in World War One, this research was unearthed again in the face of this obviously completely catastrophic war. The Allied powers were looking for something they could use. They were looking for soldiers that they could find that would have this extra ability. This, you're right over there.
Yeah.
He's grimacing. He's making faces.
Sorry, no, I had a bit of gas.
Oh, wonderful. If you'd like to, if any of you have had gas, I'd like to write in. So during World War One, all this research and all the investigations got unearthed again, and a new sort of committee, sort of group was formed with a bit more governmental sanction to it, called what can I call it? Did you try and spell S.H.I.E.L.D?
Nope.
Oh. Any suggestions? He's done an S. S? Ah.
Mm-hmm.
What's that stand for?
Strategic Science Reserve.
Is that an actual thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
In the MCU.
Oh. Right, okay. A Strategic Science Reserve it is. I was going to give it a bit more of a fancier name, but alright. Sure, okay, so the Strategic Science Reserve had exactly that purpose, to find superhumans and people with superhuman abilities to help the war effort. And they were mildly successful. There were some people that they thought might have these abilities, and showed some success, but nothing to shake a stick at, really. I've just broken my pen. Wasn't a bone, don't worry. And it kind of stayed a low-key... What? Leave me alone. I'm thinking here. A low-key governmental department for a while. In fact, it was. I'm gonna make a new character here. It was led by. Oh, should I use Phillips? No, I can't use Phillips. No. I tell you what. I wish I had better Marvel Universe knowledge now. Right. So the leader of the Strategic Science Reserve, going by the name. That'll do. Fontaine. He, despite the fact this department's sort of getting relegated to a very kind of incidental position, Fontaine was very still quite passionate about it, still furiously kind of passionate about it. But his methods were wildly different from what happened in the Grantchester Pact, and a lot of people within that organisation were becoming losing confidence in his kind of leadership, whereas the others, the other half, were becoming more fervently sort of in support of his techniques. And World War II broke out, and once again this Strategic Science Reserve was called upon. And what happened in World War II? You're going to have to help me out here, actually.
What do you want to know? What happened?
What happened?
What happened?
Yeah, can you give me just brief me on World War II,
Basically,
please?
there was a nasty little man with a funny moustache.
Yeah. Stalin, go on.
Well done. A couple of little men with funny moustaches then.
Oh.
Kind of yelling at people saying...
All right, okay, I know World War II.
Either my way or the highway. And then, obviously, some of the people were getting a bit annoyed about it, so they got a couple of sticks and a few other things, and they started kind of marching. And unfortunately, that lasted quite a few years.
All right, stop! For God's sake, everyone knows this story. We're not here to tell that story.
Okay.
Right, World War II. Captain America was present there, wasn't he?
Yeah. So was a number of other peoples.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So heroes like Captain America, who had emerged.
Who was created.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, obviously, of great interest to Fontaine and his group.
Mm-hmm.
Now, after the war ended. You all right?
Yeah.
After the war ended, Fontaine wanted to use these heroes to as a kind of police for the everyday. He wanted to employ them on the streets to keep people in order and use them that way, to use their superhuman abilities as a deterrent, not to other powers, well yes to them, but also to people on the street, and create that kind of control. And some within the organisation didn't agree with that.
Or was that the SSR?
Within the SSR,
right.
Yeah. That was the kind of final straw. So at the end of the war, about 1946, they broke off. And they created what would become to known as S.H.I.E.L.D. Specifically, these members being the descendants of the Grantchester Pact members, Mr. Stark and Mr. Carter, so Peggy and Howard, and Colonel Phillips as well. I don't know why I'm writing that down, we've got it there. And so yeah, for a while it was these two were vying because most people knew of this, and S.H.I.E.L.D. had a lot to contend with in terms of trying to make it the dominating force in pushing their agenda, which was not about policing people and using superhumans in that way, but rather monitoring them and using them to combat the bigger threats, which were inevitably going to come, rather than the small threats, as it were, within.
So the idea of it, instead of sort of saying people breaking into people's houses, you're talking about aliens coming in and invading the Earth.
I mean, obviously, around that time, the biggest threat was from other countries, I guess.
You mean the Germans?
Wow, I'll tell you what, it's good nobody saw. That was great. Okay, So, and eventually S.H.I.E.L.D. won out. So about let's say during the 1950s, S.H.I.E.L.D. finally won out, and the SSR dissolved. But there are legends, there are myths and whispers, rumours that Fontaine's ideals still live on, and there is a group out there who's using that name, the Grantchester Pact, as their own, and they wish to reassert their ideals in making superhumans and superheroes, as they obviously are known now, more controlled, I guess, and controlled to the point where we use them almost like a commodity, I suppose, as a service. But anyway, so yeah, S.H.I.E.L.D. is finally firmly established in the 1950s properly. I told you I wasn't going to. I've really got nothing for this. I'm going to lose this so bad. Okay, I'm just going to use what I know. Really,
all I can say is don't make everything happen at one time.
Oh no, yeah, definitely. No, yeah, I'm trying to space it out with defo. I mean, I've got like 30 years to fill it in now, haven't I? Yeah.
Also, if you guys hadn't noticed, it's a bit like the Wonder Woman episode disc. And you haven't done any research.
Excuse me, I think I thought Wonder Woman was like a bit of both. Nobody knew what was going on there. You're going to smash this.
No, I'm not. The only reason I'm going to potentially smash this is because I know slightly more about this than you do.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about slightly.
Well, right. Andrew, but you should have smashed it in Wonder Woman then, because you know so much more about the DC.
Shut up, you.
Ooh. Right. Carry on.
Right, 1960s. So during the 1950s, you're right.
Yeah, I was just going to say, at least you know one thing that happened in the 1960s.
Which is, of course... Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah. What is it? Will you tell me? Shh.
What episode have we done a couple of weeks ago?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. That's really good. I love that episode. I'm not looking through the book. You're looking through the book. Thomas, get off the book. What are we talking about here?
Blue Marvel, you mopstick.
Mopstick? Where is Blue Marvel? Did that happen during the 60s? Oh yeah, of course it did.
Sweet mother.
Right.
Don't you remember the piece of paper with the line?
Look, it's all I think about, alright?
The piece of paper with the line.
When I go to sleep, it's the last thing I think about.
In your life.
I know.
Carry on.
Right, so during the 1960s, the 1950s is S.H.I.E.L.D. trying to establish itself. Mm-hmm. Trying to find funding with the success of like Captain America and things like that. It's evident that this exists. This is superhumans are real, and it's becoming more and more into light. But the 1960s is where it was really firmly cemented with stuff like Blue Marvel.
I don't. It didn't even need me to give him a hint on that, did you?
No, that bit was edited out, wasn't it?
Nope.
No. Oh. It.
Anything else happened in the 1960s?
Yes.
Carry on.
The public imagination. Let's talk about the public, because their imagination was grasped by comics during the 1960s.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all that kind of science fiction stuff, people were starting to love that, and so there was more of an interest in superhumans and things like that, which was great for S.H.I.E.L.D. Because there was more pressure on the government to research this, and S.H.I.E.L.D. got more funding, and so that was a massive boon to them. And in fact, it led them to be able to launch an initiative in the next decade.
In the 70s.
I haven't mentioned the villain. I need to throw one villain in somewhere.
Yeah. Also, you actually, apart from two heroes, there's no one else.
I'm dreaming there's no one else.
You haven't. Well, just seems a bit
quiet.
Quiet on the ground, really.
Well, I mean, there's loads to mention, but I'm just giving a brief.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a brief recruitment video.
Oh,
really.
is it? Oh, is it? Okay, so it's a brief recruitment video. Okay,
yeah. Okay, this is like the type of thing that it's like there's a hall full of possible recruits.
Okay, so this is like before the recruitment speech. This is like a recruitment pre-speech video.
Yeah, this is like welcome to S.H.I.E.L.D.
Got you. Right, okay, carry on, mate.
1970s. They're able to launch an initiative
called
the Grantchester. No, I'm joking.
I'm so digging him in a hole. It's hilarious.
I know. Help me.
No.
What is there? Is there an actual? I feel like you've got something to say. Like every time you've got a hint.
No.
Right. Let's call it the Orbit Initiative.
I'm liking the name.
That allows, basically, that is launched, and basically the concept of it is to have one agent assigned, at least one agent assigned to every superhuman or superhero that is known to S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
So there will always be one agent who orbits them, basically.
Okay.
Hence the name.
Right.
Not literally. Stupid person, not like a little moon.
I like that. I get that. Nice little reference, well done. Little hint there, Garden.
I don't know what that was. I'm literally just making this crap up. All
No,
right?
I know that. But what I mean is just the you stupid person. I like that.
Oh, stupid. Right, okay. Yeah. So the Orbit Initiative basically is assigning at least one agent, depending on the hero, of course. Like for Captain America, it's going to be like a whole team.
Oh, are you saying Captain America is around and about in your world?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Yeah, they'll have them around and about, as well as the others, which I'm sure you all know, because I can't think of any that would be around in the 70s.
Can I just one little question?
Yeah, go on.
When did he come out of the ice in your world?
When did he come out the ice?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in another podcast.
Okay.
That's it. It's just the induction video, all right?
Okay, fine. Right. Okay.
Questions at the end.
No, fine. Carry on, mate.
Yeah. So the purpose of this is specialisation.
Okay.
It's to know the hero, know what they're capable of, know their powers and things like that, their personality, their fish, what type of fish they like. We know squirrel girls.
Oh, of course, yes, well done. Nice bit of salmon.
We know, yeah. So it's basically to give the public that kind of reassurance that these heroes, although they are free, as it were, there is somewhat of a leash. There's somewhat of a regulation. That there's somebody out there who is monitoring them. some of these agents actually almost became as famous as the heroes during the 1970s, because their faces would pop up like whenever a hero would finish sort of beating up a villain, saving the day or something. The cameras would pan to them, and there'd always be a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent with them. And some of those agents became quite famous because obviously there was only one person assigned to one other hero. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm getting that. You're hammering that home, aren't you?
Well, I'm trying to, because I don't know what I'm talking about. Now that had to stop in the 1980s because there was an incident.
There was an incident.
Where one of the...
An incident pre-incident.
One of the agents became romantically involved with a hero.
Oh, sweet Lord. Right.
I need your help. I need a villain. I need a not too big a villain.
Egghead.
Who's Egghead?
He's an Ant-Man villain.
What's he do?
He comes up with he hasn't really got powers apart from the fact his head's shaped as an egg, and but he's very, very intelligent, and he can come up with all really clever and really detailed and really kind of like clever plans.
I think this might be out of Egghead's remit. Let me think. Hang on, I've got this.
Okay, fine.
I've got this.
Found. You asked for my help, and I gave it to you free and easy. Throw it in my face.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Swine.
I do apologise for that. Sorry, I can cut this out, surely.
No. Come on.
I feel it's like I'm really not having a good day. Like I'm not feeling inspired at all. I feel like it's on the tip of my tongue.
What kind of thing are you looking for?
I just need like a Joe Schmo, basically.
Joe Schmo.
Somebody that...
Well, make someone up.
Huh?
Just make someone up then.
No, I need to fill in the elements, don't I? I need to fulfill the elements.
Oh.
Alright, okay.
How about he's sort of a character, but he's going to be made up. Okay.
No, hang on. I've got it. I've
Okay,
got it.
fine.
Don't worry. I've got this.
Good.
Right. Right. So a villain.
Yeah.
So this is the 1980s. Bearing in mind. So a
Right.
villain. I've actually forgotten his name.
Sweet mother.
I know who I can use.
Oh.
I know who I can use.
Just get a move on, man.
Right. A villain known as the Vulture.
It's taking you this long to remember the Vulture.
Yes, okay, I'm not feeling it, alright? Right, a villain known as the Vulture. Basically,
Yeah.
Uncovered
A nest. Full of eggs.
Shut up! The agent of S.H.I.E.L.D's identity, which was more readily available than the hero's identity, obviously.
Right.
No, bear with me. And basically killed both the agent and the hero. After discovering them together, obviously, because of this relationship they've got going on. So he managed to track them both down and actually killed them both. Okay?
Right.
Right, so after that incident, it was basically publicly S.H.I.E.L.D. was... People say it was shut down. When people talk about S.H.I.E.L.D., they say it was shut down. But what actually happened is it kind of went into administration in a way.
Well, as in it was being closed down, and it needed the debtors like the accountants to go in.
No,
That's what administration means.
Yeah, but no. What what I mean is, it kind of went down to its very basic sort of paperwork level.
Oh, okay, right. Right, okay, got you.
And so from then on, like S.H.I.E.L.D, in terms of the public eye, S.H.I.E.L D wasn't a thing anymore. It was no more. However, that wasn't the case.
No, evidently not.
All that happened was
they stopped showing up.
Basically,
got you.
Basically, S.H.I.E.L D just became more covert after that.
So instead of standing beside the hero, they were standing maybe 6 or 7
They were in
people.
the crowd, yeah.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah.
Taking notes.
Absolutely.
Got you.
And in this way, actually, they became more and more effective. And as superhero groups grew and things like the X-Men emerged and things like that, S.H.I.E.L D were there to create a relationship with them.
Mm-hmm.
Albeit from the shadows.
Yeah.
They were there to liaison with them, and they were monitoring them, but it wasn't a case of like you have to report to us all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It was a two-way thing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened in the 1990s for that decade.
Okay, so 1980s and 1990s, sort of.
Yeah, the 1990s was the S.H.I.E.L.D's new approach.
Okay.
To
being covert.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, this ends at 2000, doesn't it?
Well, no, 2002 roughly.
Right. Okay.
They've got those last 3 years, mate, that you can go into.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, so here we are, 10th century.
Mm-hmm.
And we're working on a new initiative. Yeah.
Okay.
In order to further S.H.I.E.L.D. We've already opened up headquarters and bases all over America. And we're working on reaching out across the world as well. We've got some HQs in Europe, some in Asia. But with the ever-increasing threat from outside of our own planet, we're working on technology which will allow us to extend beyond that.
Into space.
Into space.
Right.
And that's the future for S.H.I.E.L.D. at the moment. On a much grander scale, and we hope to do much bigger work, and work with heroes and these superhumans in order to make not just our country but our entire planet safe. And thank you for coming to our recruitment today. And remember, here at S.H.I.E.L.D, let me give you the old salute and say, big goodbye, S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right, so is that your...
Right, yeah, that's
your story.
Absolute struggle of, yeah.
Well, you did better than I first assumed you were going to do.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
I thought it was going to be utter dog shit.
But it was just dog shit.
It was just dog shit. So, I don't even know why I'm going to do this, because I win automatically. But
well,
hey,
thanks for that.
No
That's
problem.
Lovely. That was really nice.
No, of course not, Andrew. That was a very good story. I know I had to help you a bit.
Yes, you did, and I appreciate that.
But that's, it was good. So
I hit all the bars, didn't I?
You did. You
Yeah.
I was a bit worried until you got to the end there about kind of how you're going to do about the recruitment sort of thing. But well done, you did that, and telling the history. So well done. Obviously, the time period you did well.
So patronised. Yeah, go on.
the name, good.
Got the name.
Yeah, got the founders, good. I was a bit worried when you started off in the 1800s. That worried me.
Yeah, well, that was a little curveball I was throwing there.
It was, and I know I scoffed. I scoffed a lot there, but obviously you brought it round. You brought it round, so good on you. And you did at least
one hero,
and one villain.
Struggled through, yeah.
Yeah, but well done.
Right, go on then.
Okay.
Right. Wowers.
Okay.
That's very good. Right, so
right. This is Agent Garrett bringing in potential future S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Grant Ward for an introduction into the history of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Very good.
Now, Agent
Ward.
No, Agent Garrett
Oh yeah.
was a man with many years' service.
Oh yeah.
He has dealt with many villains and situations since his joining of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the very early 1980s. But obviously this is going to be the beginning of S.H.I.E.L.D's history, which of course starts with pre-S.H.I.E.L.D. history.
Oh.
Now, during the Second World War, before America joined into the war, he created a secret government agency called the SSR. And the SSR was, of course, what did I call it? What was it?
I thought it was strategic science.
Yes, strategic.
Hang on, who created this?
The president.
Oh yeah.
Whoever was the president at the time of the Second World War.
We should both know that, really, shouldn't we?
Not really.
Didn't they change presidents halfway through?
Yeah, because it was Roosevelt.
Yeah.
One of them was Roosevelt. I know because he was the one who obviously met Churchill and all that sort of stuff and signed the pacts at the end. But I don't know who was the president before that. I can't remember. Anyway, shut up. Anyway, so obviously that was kind of very much sort of involved in creating weapons that would counter the weapons Hydra had been making for the Nazis and everything like that, and trying to equal the footing. The footing. The SSR, of course, was also partly behind the creation of the super soldier serum, which created Captain America, under the guidance of Dr. Abraham Erskine. But since the end of the war in 1945, the SSR was struggling to keep relevant, and the government was struggling to keep it kind of necessary to be still allowed to be involved. But like I say, from 1946 onwards, inventor and entrepreneur and businessman Howard Stark and Peggy Carter, who had become very close friends with Captain America, and Captain America's commander, Colonel Chester Phillips, were obviously, like I say, involved in the SSR, but they had bigger and better ideas that they thought could bring the SSR further and make it more important and more world protecting than it was under the American government. So the three of them went to see the president around 1946 and said they would like to begin a kind of, what's the word, making the SSR no longer existent,
right,
and in its place a even secreter organisation that would have no connections with the government or anything like that, but it's a wholly separate entity, and they were going to call it S.H.I.E.L.D. The president was sceptical but allowed it to begin. So, from 1948, S.H.I.E.L.D. became a reality. Being its first director was Chester Phillips. and Howard Stark and Peggy Carter worked very hard in the early years of making sure they get the best scientists, best inventors, best people imaginable to be a part of this new organisation to make sure the Earth was safe. Obviously, over the years they tried to recreate certain things that obviously they lost during the war, such as Captain America. And over the years they were trying to either recreate Captain America itself or potentially the super soldier serum that created it. They got very close to that in the mid-1950s, and they created the potential of a stand-in Captain America, who unfortunately followed in the same sort of footsteps as the Red Skull and turned evil. So S.H.I.E.L.D. had to take him down.
Do you have a name?
I can't remember. Let me find out. Where's my phone? Hate it when you put me on the spot. You git.
I'm just interested.
Google, where are you? There you are. It's so unusual that this is me. I'm the one who usually knows everything. What's going on? So wrong. Right, okay.
Well, this is based a lot on facts.
Well, it is, but don't worry.
Opposed to the other stories.
Yes, that's because I know facts. Also, that doesn't help the fact that I don't think my internet's working. No, it's not. Okay, that doesn't matter. Right, so let's just call him...
Codman.
No. Oh.
Fish breath.
No.
Haddock boy.
Don't worry, I'll put that in when I found out. I'll...
Salmon Ella.
No, shut up. Anyway, so he obviously was taken down by S.H.I.E.L.D. But moving on to the 1960s and a influx of humans with abilities started to arrive. One of these such people were a black man called Adam Bashir, who, even though the President JFK had asked him to step down from being a superhero, S.H.I.E.L.D. kept on monitoring him and kept to make sure he wasn't doing anything that he shouldn't do, but wanting to see what he could do if anything needed to be done by him. Also, in the early 1960s, a group of scientists were doing an experiment to see if they could go into space, and they after they'd been up to space and on their way back down, something happened to their spaceship, and it caused them to have a reaction. This evidently became the characters as we know them as Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, Human Torch, and The Thing, who of course collectively become the Fantastic Four. After a few missions here on Earth, they disappear and are never heard of ever again.
What, is this still the 1960s?
Yeah. Now, jumping to the late 1960s, a young scientist called Hank Pym joins S.H.I.E.L.D. in the science department.
What's this? When's this, sorry?
The late 1960s, so say 69, 1970. And he creates a number of advancements into the science community, even being able to create find and name a new particle. And he creates a suit for himself and his future wife, Janet Van Dyne, to become superheroes that work for S.H.I.E.L.D. from the 70s to the 80s. So they become the first superheroes assigned with S.H.I.E.L.D. that they can monitor and keep tabs on all the time. Unfortunately, in the late 1980s, Janet disappears and Hank retires and becomes a recluse and hates S.H.I.E.L.D. Over the 1990s, more other things start happening, like mutants, as they're called, start popping up and are attracted to a certain location in Westchester, New York, where strange anomalies begin to happen. And that sort of carries on until right up to the present day. Until roughly around 2001, where a doctor in New York who's trying to recreate unsuccessfully the super soldier serum, mixing it with gamma radiation, attempts to test it on himself. Unfortunately, Dr. Bruce Banner becomes a horrible green rage monster called the Hulk, causing terrible destruction. This brings you right up to the present day, as S.H.I.E.L.D. is at present still monitoring all assets that we have, and we hope, Mr. Ward, that you are impressed enough to wish to join our organisation. That is the end of Thomas's S.H.I.E.L.D. history.
Cool. So are we going to... this thing that happened in the 1950s, is that going to count as your win villain?
Yeah.
Alright, we'll let you off there. I didn't get a name, but we'll let you off.
There is a name.
There is a name, we just don't know what it is.
It's just going to be kind of superimposed over when I find out when I get home.
A villain by the name of Fishman.
Not
Right.
helpful, but yeah.
Right, okay.
Go on, Andrew.
Right, brilliant. I've got no problem with any of yours. Apart from... No, I'm joking. So, the question is... Yours sounds like it's very much based in what's already... How much of that did you make up?
Let's have a look. I made up, the Captain America in the 1950s. Actually, no. Technically, no, that's... Actually, no, all of that's actually in the comics, but I want to... Because the one thing that I've never liked...
If you want to preserve S.H.I.E.L.D., that's fine.
Yeah, no, the one thing that I don't like, which always annoyed me, is the idea of Captain America's been in the ice and all that sort of stuff, and then he's sort of forgotten about until he's thawed out.
Right.
Even I know in the comic books it was only 20 years, but obviously in this I want to make it more 60 something years, say. But I would like it to have the one thing that I want to try and make sure S.H.I.E.L.D. does, but they've always wanted to do, which is from the founding of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is either get the original Captain America or make more like Captain America.
Right. Okay. Right.
Obviously, I brought in obviously the Fantastic Four into the 60s because I think that's...
When did they even...
They were created in the 1960s,
yeah,
but,
I'm sure.
But there's obviously there's a lot of people that do kind of stories about the Fantastic Four.
No, yeah, that's
it's all
fine
about
with me.
it's all about them in the modern day.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
I don't think they work in the modern day per se. I think it works very much in the 1960s. And then obviously, like I've done there, you can make them disappear after a little bit, and then you can maybe bring them back. But always have them in that rooted of the 1960s.
Right.
We've also brought in the X-Men, which I thought you would enjoy. Because I know how much you like Wolverine.
Yeah, I love him so much.
Yeah, you should see him on, Halloween. He's dressed up as Wolverine. It's terrible.
I was going to wear it today, but I thought, I know how much you hate him. So
I don't hate him. I don't actually hate him.
Right, the question is then, right, I'm fine with all yours.
I like yours as well.
What do you like about it?
I would like to keep Andrew if it's potential.
Because it's your choice now, really.
Is it really my choice?
Yeah.
Is it really? Why is it my choice?
Well, it's like we've made a pizza,
Okay.
and you've made the base and the cheese and tomato, so you just want to pick the toppings, really.
Okay. Okay, well, the one thing I did like is, and I know I probably took the piss out of you for it, but I like the idea of the thing in the 1800s.
Right.
The Grantchester Pact or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then once it finishes, it kind of like ends kind of like 1905 or something like that.
Sure.
And then it's left dormant until
Yeah. So do you want to keep
the
that?
start of the Second World War.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to keep this? It doesn't really work with your story, but the split between the SSR and S.H.I.E.L.D.
Not really.
Okay.
Because
you want the SSR to become S.H.I.E.L.D.
yes.
Right. Okay. We'll keep that.
Yeah.
Is it going to have the ancestors with the same names, or do you want completely different people?
We can keep Mr. Stark.
Yeah.
We can keep Mr. Stark in there. Not. Well, no, we'll keep both of them. We'll keep both of them.
Okay.
Go on,
I wasn't going to do all three because I thought that'd be too much. So.
No, yeah, but yeah, we'll keep we'll keep Stark and Carter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Anything else? Is that it?
I think so. Unless there's anything you particularly really want to keep.
The only thing that I was affectionate about was the change. Was that incident basically that changed S.H.I.E.L.D.'s approach from being quite public and out in the open
in the agency, did you say?
Yeah.
Was that?
That's the only thing that I was quite affectionate about.
Okay.
That change in philosophy from we're not going to be so.
Okay. Well, how about if we say that's in the 1980s?
Yeah.
Yeah. We say that with about and the wasp disappearing.
How would that change their philosophy though?
Okay.
I suppose it could.
Or we could actually do it into the 1950s.
In fact, no, that might actually work because if S.H.I.E.L.D. at that point is quite a public thing,
yeah,
and people find out about what happens to the wasp, then there's going to be this public outrage, isn't there?
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, shut it down, we can't have all this. So,
yeah.
And that's, so publicly they're shut down.
Yeah.
But actually they're just going under the radar.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Or we could... The only other thing about saying it about doing it in the 1950s with the fake Captain America would be, because obviously Captain America was such a well-loved individual during the war, the idea that that name's now been tarnished and dirtied.
I just think it's too
early.
Yeah, too early.
Yeah, okay.
In S.H.I.E.L.D.'s history.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Well, the only one thing you could say about that is if we did it that early, it would be that they were trying to be more, even though it's not connected to the government, we were trying to be open and everything to the world, and then when that happened, they realised that what they wanted to do, they can't do in that openness with the world, and they have to be shady.
What if we change their philosophy in the 1950s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I say, I'll let you decide that. You can have that decision between either the 50s or the 80s, mate.
Right. Let me write down what we're keeping. So we'll keep the Grantchester Pact.
Yes.
Plus Grantchester Pact. With Stark and Carter. Change in philosophy. Oh, I don't know now. I don't know. I'm partial to either one now, because the 1950s, it might be interesting because they've got more time to practice being covert then.
But that's what I was thinking. But like I say, it's because if you think about it, if we say this has been going on since let's say S.H.I.E.L.D's been around since the 1948, yeah. and they've only got 10 years, and then they have to completely change their outlook and everything like that. That's to me, not even though I've never run a company or anything like that, but it seems to me that would be a lot easier to do, the complete fabric of the company, than say you've done something for 30, 35, 40 years, and then you drastically have to change.
Yeah, I know what you mean. However, conversely, this was created in 1948, and it's government sanctioned, funded, and then not even 10 years later, they're fucked up. Do you know what I mean? They're gonna be like, nah, hey, on your bike.
But that's why they do go under. That's why they do go.
Yeah, but they just shoot it
under
down,
the radar.
surely.
Yeah, but after under the radar and everything like that, and then they kind of.
But.
And remember, they're not affiliated with the government. It's not a. Once S.H.I.E.L.D. began, it was no longer government. It was no longer affiliated with the government.
Well, how about this then? How about that happened, and they were government sanctioned, government funded.
Yeah, and
then
after
what happens?
that,
They became privately funded.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
you can do that.
Cool. Nice. We need to find out the name of this villain, by the way, because this guy's now played quite a significant.
Yeah. Don't worry. It will be seamless. They won't even know it's happened.
Are you keeping this bit in? You talking about it?
No. I probably will actually, but I'll send you a text.
No, you should, because I'll tell you what people will do. They'll rewind it and they'll be like, "Hey."
I'll send you a message and be like, kind of, this is the guy's name, and then we'll have to record something extra to this episode when I find out the name. Can't you go on the internet?
No, I've got no data. Sorry.
For saying.
Really sorry. Yeah, so I like that. So it's your story. I like all the points and stuff. Fantastic Four in the 1960s. That's fine with me. That's cool. Yeah, that's all cool with me.
Okay.
That's a canon. That's canon to me.
Right.
Plus,
okay.
1800s Grantchester Pact.
Very happy with that.
1950s.
Yeah.
That changed the philosophy from public to covert, and from government to private funded.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So it's just so we know the scores.
Oh yeah.
It is.
It's 6-4.
It's 6-4. You sure you don't want to have half a score yourself?
No.
Sure?
There's no point in having halves.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you though.
Okay. Do you want to bring us home, or shall I bring us home this time? It's up to you.
I mean, where is our home is the question.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for listening to this episode of Earth Orange. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
If you would like, you can, of course, leave a comment or subscribe on this video. You can become one of our patrons.
Do we need to cut this bit short? Because this is like...
No, not really.
People can turn off at
That's
this
fine,
bit.
I don't really care. You can be. The link is down below. You can email us. All you've got to do is write in the not the description.
No, don't write there.
No, in the subject matter of the email, just say podcast.
Or leave a comment.
Yes, you can put it. I've said that. Or you can send us this for free. Because he's just making this terrible, isn't it? Right, I'm going to start again.
No, please, God. Jesus.
Thank you very much.
We got this far.
Thank you very much for listening to this Earth Orange podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. If so, you can leave a comment or a like down below. If you would like, you can become one of you can subscribe to this channel. You can become one of my patrons by following the link down below. You can also send an email to myself and Andrew if you just follow the link down to the email, well, the address in the description, and put in the subject matter podcast. It will go into a separate folder so me and Andrew can see that. Like I said, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and as always, I shall give you a salute and say goodbye, and also, bring me my shield!
Fish!
Goodbye, Andrew.
Bye.